I'm Johnny Gamet. Thanks for watching Bruins 360. Let's recap last week's basketball games. On Friday night, the Lady Bruins faced off against their rival Pensacola Christian College, and during the first half, both teams battled for the lead early on, but Hannah Tompkins and Maggie Ford caught fire as the team began to sink their shots and led by 10 at the half. In the second half, it was much of the same as Hannah Tompkins continued to power the Bruins. 17 points she ended up with as the Bruins walked away 72-52 with the victory. After that, it was the men's game taking on Pensacola Christian College. In the opening minutes, the two rivals went back and forth trying to take control. Che Dexter provided the highlight of the first half as he knocked home a buzzer beater shot to give the Bruins a 33-31 lead. But in the second half, TJ Jackson and company couldn't miss from behind the arc as the Eagles began to roll, finishing the Bruins off 72-59. Earlier today, we sat down with Camden Jones of the men's basketball team. He's our Double Alt Bruin of the Week.
For all your legal needs, call Brian Ramey and Associates, 864-295-0000.
All right, I'm here with Camden Jones of the men's basketball team. Camden, thanks so much for taking the time to join us. Let's talk Bruins basketball this season. It's been kind of a year of up and downs emotionally for you guys, but let's talk about even before this season, coming into this year. We had a really strong season last year, finished with our first winning record. Of course, some personnel changes, different things like that, and you were forced more into really a veteran role, being a guy with pretty much the most experience on the team, you and a couple other guys. So talk to me about that transition, going from more of a role player on the bench to now, starting some of the games.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little different. Obviously, we still practice the same amount of time in practice. You end up practicing with different guys. But then the biggest difference was like the game time. And so it was a little bit different because, sure, I've been there for 2 years, but I don't have that game experience. So coming alongside some of the freshmen and stuff, we're still kind of learning the same thing when it comes to the games. But fortunately, we have, we've built a program and we know what we stand for. And so I was able to help those guys with certain aspects like that, especially off the court, in the classroom, and things like that, like what the coaches really expected from us. So.
Going into this season, we knew we were going to have a young team. It was going to be a transition for us, and started out the season really well, and then played some really tough opponents. But just talk about, again, you're one of the leaders on the team. Talk about the emotions of starting off the season so well and then having to play such tough opponents and bad results with those opponents.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we started off, obviously, like you said, with a couple of easier teams. And then we played the 3 Division I schools. And then we just kind of got in a funk. We missed a lot of shots. We really kind of suffered with a lack of effort, which the coaches really pointed out to us, and we've really been working on in practice especially. And what they've really been harping on us recently is just having a championship mindset. And that starts in practice, and that starts with building championship habits each day in practice and building little things so that one day we can reach our ultimate goal of a championship. And, that may not be this year or next year, but 5 years down the road, if they've laid these championship habits, then the team down the road is going to reap those benefits.
Again, talk about the importance of you being an upperclassman, especially for these guys you talk about academically, helping them with that arena, but even just stressing that mindset of, hey guys, we might not win another game this year, but it's laying that foundation so that 20 years from now when you come back, you'll be able to see those same championship qualities.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I kind of went through that the first year when we went, I think, like 6-25, and the coaches kept telling us that, you know what, guys, you're laying a foundation. This is for the teams that come ahead of us. And so we really have. We've really discussed that. And I don't even think necessarily that these guys aren't going to see the benefits. I think eventually, once guys like Marshall and Dustin and even a guy like Che becomes a senior, this basketball team is going to be really good. And we've talked about it. Next year, they're going to be good as well. I mean, we've got a couple freshmen coming in that are really going to be difference makers. And so it's really encouraging to be able to say, hey guys, start now, and by next year you guys are going to be a really good team.
Going forward this season, what do you think are the 1 or 2 things that that could get us that win that'll snap this losing streak?
Defense especially. I mean, in the Pensacola game, we held them to, I think, under 30 points in the first half, and, we took a 4-point lead into halftime. That was huge. And then just making the hustle plays. Coach Wingreen's constantly harping on us to get on the floor after loose balls, rebounds, things like that. And at the end of the day, it really makes a difference. We didn't do that against Pensacola in the second half, and the result was, a 10-point loss. So
Going forward for you, you graduate this year. As you look back at your time with the Bruins, what is one or two things that you're really going to remember about the program?
The team, for sure. Just the individuals, the relationships that were built, I really feel like are going to be lifelong relationships. I know Kyle and Ray and I both still communicate with a lot of the guys that were on that first original team, and I really see that continuing. And then from the players to the coaches, I mean, Coach Ring, Coach Miller, and Coach Wingreen, and even Coach Hunt as well, have become lifelong mentors, in my opinion, and are men that I can go back to, and not only for basketball, but for anything spiritual, academic, anything that I'm struggling with. I know I can count on those guys to be there for me. So.
All right, it's Camden Jones of the men's basketball team. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Now let's take a look at what's coming up for our Bruins teams. This Friday, the Lady Bruins basketball team will play host to Tennessee Temple University at 7 p.m. Then on Saturday, it's a doubleheader at home against Toccoa Falls College. Women's team will play at 5, and the men's team will take the court at 7 p.m. Remember, at any time, you can go to bjubruins.com. There you'll find stats, scores, schedules, and so much more. Remember, you can also download our app at the App Store or the Google Play Store. I'm Johnny Gammett. Thanks for watching Bruins 360.